From the East Coast to the West Coast and around the world on the Internet. We're coming to you live from the CCRS studios, WNJC 1360 and WIFI 1460. This is the Conservative Commandos radio show with your host, Rick Trader. The Conservative Commandos radio show, where the newsmakers go to be heard. You can call the Conservative Commandos radio show at 856-227-1360. Your opinion counts at 856-227-1360.
This is Congressman Alan West, and you're listening to the Conservative Commando radio show.
Welcome, everybody, and welcome, fellow patriots, and welcome once again to the Conservative Commandos radio show. I'm Rick Trader, coming to you live from the CCRS studios, that of WNJC 1360, our flagship station in Philadelphia. The way we do Monday through Friday from 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern, and around the world on the Internet with our Internet broadcast partners, CPRWorldwideMedia.com, LeadingEdgeRadioNetwork.com, VigilantLibertyRadio.us, and proud to say that we do have a new affiliate, PunditPressRadio.com is our newest affiliate. Also, you can hear rebroadcast of our shows from our websites or by calling 832-999-1199. And joining me today as the co-host du jour is the patriot from the Commonwealth of Virginia, Jonathan Mosley. John, welcome to the Conservative Commandos radio show.
Good to be here.
Great to have you with us, John. And we do have a great lineup of guests today. How about if we start our show off a little bit differently and going over our lineup? What do you think?
Yeah, that'd be good.
All right, and let's see, 3:30, you have the first guest, or 3:35, and who would that be?
Yes, we're going to have Chris Walker, who's with Second Vote, who is an interesting organization urging people not to spend their money to support the causes we don't agree with. They're encouraging people to buy their Christmas presents, and they're doing their shopping, including here on what was yesterday, Cyber Monday, and the push to make sure that you're supporting organizations and companies that agree with you, that are the sorts of things, and there'll be an interesting discussion about how to go about doing that. So that'll be helpful.
All right.
I think you have the next guest.
Yeah, at 4:05, we're going to be having J.D. Gordon, former Defense Department spokesman for the Western Hemispheres. He served both Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld and Robert Gates, and reports say that Barack Obama has chosen a replacement for Chuck Hagel as Secretary of Defense, and that replacement will be Ashton Carter. So we've asked J.D. to join us today to discuss this new Secretary of Defense. And also at 4:35, we're going to have Kendrick Warden. You're leading that one, aren't you, John?
Yeah, I'm not familiar. Can you tell us about Kendrick Ward?
Okay, well, Kendrick Ward is a national reporter for Watchdog.org, and he's also their Virginia bureau chief. And Kendrick is joining us to talk about court ruling challenges Obama immigration action. And a U.S. court has ruled that U.S. tech worker, in a ruling that could short-circuit one of Obama's executive actions on immigration, a federal court has allowed U.S. tech workers to challenge extension of foreign labor status here. So, just another bump in the road for Obama's amnesty program.
Well, it's very interesting. There's a lot of news going on with that. At the moment, if you allow me to rearrange, I hadn't gotten that one email from you, but there's a lot of news going on in executive action right now. If you don't mind, Rick,
go with it.
There is a hearing going on right now on it in Capitol Hill. Last time I checked in, Jordan, Jay Sekulow at ACLJ, American Center for Law and Justice, was testifying, giving his analysis of why this mass executive action is not constitutional or illegal. And Larry Klayman, of course, for Joe Arpaio, has filed a lawsuit to challenge it on behalf of Joe Arpaio. And we are preparing, even as we speak, I wish I were a little farther along on work on this, to file a motion for a preliminary injunction to block the executive order amnesty until the courts can rule that letting it go into effect without having a court ruling is significantly, going to cause all kinds of chaos. Basically, it's designed to make sure that the programs go into effect before anyone can question them. So we're going to ask for a preliminary injunction to block that. And what's interesting too about this is that, as you'll hear, if people follow the C-SPAN testimony right now, the testimony on C-SPAN, it's really kind of complicated, because what President Obama did, he made a speech, and then the Secretary of Homeland Security, Jay Johnson, issued all these memorandums, and the Office of Legal Counsel at the U.S. Department of Justice issued a legal opinion about why they think it's legal. So it's really kind of complicated. You got all these different things going on at the same time, and one of those things I think is what our guest is going to talk about is specifically dealing with a particular category of high-tech jobs. I think that's what they're focused on. But what makes it really like nailing Jello to a wall to challenge an amnesty that Obama announced is just you have all these memos with all these different parts, and they're not really organized. And they've got like 4 or 5 different topics in one memo, and we have to sort of chase them all down. And that's part of what they're doing in our lawsuit. I think what Jay Sekulow is doing is he's testifying right now on Capitol Hill. He's sorting out all these different excuses. And so that's what I think we have there. I'm getting set up here, so if I go over time, interrupt me here. But you want me to explain a little bit about what I learned on that? If you like.
Sure, go ahead.
Because what happened is that they're claiming this is prosecutorial discretion. The legal counsel told them you can only do this if this is a case-by-case decision of each individual illegal alien, and that it's prosecutorial discretion. So they took this language, case-by-case review, and sort of slapped it on the memos, which is clearly phony. There isn't any case-by-case review. I mean, there's no standards, there's no reason for it, there's no one who applies for this amnesty is going to be denied. So it really comes down, in my view, to how this whole thing is phony. But in order for them to make this work, they're going to have to say that some official down the line who maybe is Republican is going to have to say, no, I'm not going to, person applies, and then, nope, not going to give it to them. Well, of course, they're not going to tolerate that. So it's really going to come down, I think, to a surprising extent, to some of this technicality. It's sort of, now I know that everybody, including me, is interested in the constitutional issues, but this may come on the order of catching Al Capone for tax evasion. Some of the legal technicalities, because they've done a pretty good job of trying to hide the ball, but ultimately behind the story, it's phony. The other thing is that they're claiming, as I've read through all these memos and the analysis, is that they can't enforce the law because they don't have enough resources.
Well, one of the resources they don't have enough of, John, is judges. So when you talk about this being on a case-by-case basis, I would like to know who the judges are that are hearing this.
Yeah.
Hey, John, with that, we are up against the break, and you are listening to the Conservative Commandos radio show with Jonathan Mosley and Rick Trader coming to you from the CCRS studios, WNJC 1360, and around the world on the Internet with our Internet broadcast partners, CPRWorldwideMedia.com, LeadingEdgeRadioNetwork.com. Our newest is PunditPress.com and VigilantLibertyRadio.us. Now you can hear our show anytime, day or night from our websites, conservativecommandersradioshow.com, ccrshow.com, or by calling 832-999-1199. Don't go away. John and I will be right back.
They say I'm nasty, but
This is Rick Trader, host of the Conservative Commandos radio show.
And I'm John Forsyth, owner of WNJC Radio. Fellow patriots, the Conservative Commandos radio show is for conservatives, about conservatives, and by conservatives.
We are patriots who want to take our country back from the likes of Barack Obama, Harry Reid, George Soros, and Nancy Pelosi.
But we can't keep up this fight without your critical support today. Can you help? Please go to www.helpccrs.com right now and make a donation by credit card or PayPal. That's www.helpccrs.com.
Our goal is to expose the liberal agenda and distortions.
We are fighting to spread the truth about political issues, political leaders, and conservative issues and values.
Our hosts are not paid. In fact, we buy our own airtime, studio time, and pay our own expenses.
We created the show because we're trying to make a difference. So can you help the CCRS expose the truth in 2014 and beyond? Go to www.helpccrs.com.
Help keep the Conservative Commandos radio show on the air by going to www.helpccrs.com and make a donation today to return our country to the conservative roots created by our founding fathers.
This is the Taxpayer Minute, brought to you by Americans for Prosperity.
New Jersey is known for a lot of things. Our shore, not pumping our own gas, our malls, the Jersey tomato, and the worst state to die in. New Jersey is behind the times when it comes to death taxes, as 31 states have neither an estate nor inheritance tax. New Jersey is only one of 2 states that have both of these arbitrary taxes on the books. This is just one more reason for our retired to move to another state so loved ones are not taxed on things they worked hard for their entire lives. Our farming communities would certainly be most affected by the elimination of the estate tax. Instead of their next of kin being walloped with a tax bill they cannot afford, by eliminating the estate tax will allow them to pass down their large land holdings to their family and keep the property as farmland. Learn how to pressure our lawmakers to kill the death tax at taxpayerminute.com. That's taxpayerminute.com.
This has been the Taxpayer Minute, brought to you by Americans for Prosperity.
Hi, this is Bob Viden, owner of Bob's Little Sports Shop in Glassboro, New Jersey. I've had the opportunity to travel in many foreign countries, and I've seen what happens to people when they lose their freedom. I wrote this poem. Give us freedom was the cry as they marched throughout the night. At Concord Bridge in Trenton, for freedom they would fight. To build a nation that would last with peace and liberty, it is a job that's never done if we are to be free. They wrote a declaration to announce that we are free, then a constitution for all the world to see. But this is ink on paper. We must make it last. It must always be defended, and that is quite a task. Today the battle rages for freedom in our land. To save our Constitution, we all must take a stand. We must stand up for freedom in our actions every day, and you can stand up with us. Join the NRA. This is Bob Viden of Bob's Little Sports Shop in Glassboro, New Jersey. You may call us at area code 856-881-7575 or visit us online at bobslittle.sportshop.com.
You can call the Conservative Commandos radio show at 856-227-1360. Your opinion counts at 856-227-1360.
This is Congressman Alan West, and you're listening to the Conservative Commando Radio Show.
Welcome back to the Conservative Commandos Radio Show with Jonathan Mosley and yours truly, Rick Trader. If you'd like to hear a rebroadcast of today's show at 9 p.m. this evening Eastern Time, log on to vigilantlibertyradio.us, or tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., log on to leadingedgeradionetwork.com. Now, you can also hear rebroadcast of our shows on our newest affiliate, punditpressradio.com, punditpressradio.com. And at 5 p.m. this evening, you can hear a rebroadcast of yesterday's show by logging on to cprworldwidemedia.com. You can also hear rebroadcast of our shows from our websites or from any telephone by calling 832-999-1199. John Mosley, remember when people